I'm standing in front of Manipur's Kangla Fort, the seat of the erstwhile Manipur Kingdom. It's been a little over 15 hours now that President's rule was imposed in the state, keeping the assembly in suspended animation. You can see security presence outside the fort, but there has not been a clampdown of any kind in Imphal Valley. Normal life is going on. You can see traffic moving all around. Offices are opened, shops are opened. After the President's rule was notified last night, the central government has stepped in, taking responsibility, taking total control of the administration, running of the day-to-day affairs of the state. The President's rule has to be approved by the Parliament in 2 months' time. Bringing in a President rule where the Assembly has been kept in suspended animation basically allows the BJP central leadership some more time to look for a replacement for Biren Singh. Also, with the centre stepping in, measures will be initiated to restore normalcy in the state, to bridge the divide that has happened in the Manipur society, where the Kukis and Meiteis were involved in an ethnic conflict since May 2023.
The President's rule will now empower the centre to take strict action against underground groups who till some time back were moving around in vehicles, openly brandishing weapons and threatening people. State government officials said that in the last few months, after Mr. Ajay Bhalla was appointed Governor of Manipur and a new Chief Secretary, Mr. P.K. Singh, took over, the authorities had already started the process to bring back normalcy in the state and restore the faith of the people in the administration. The police and security agencies are also cracking down on extortionists and recovering weapons looted from the police armories. Sir, the centre has imposed President's rule in Manipur last evening, keeping the assembly in suspended animation. So, what do you have to say to that? How do you see the development? And what does it mean for Manipur?
I think this was foreseen by all political analysts that it was coming, because most of the analysts, they knew that the BJP had internal problems, as a result of which it would be very hard for them to choose a successor to the present caretaker chief minister, and they knew it. And those who wanted a change within the party, they didn't have that number of MLAs with them, number one. And number two, the most critical one is that they didn't have an answer to whether any one of them being a chief minister, within what period of time and how we are going to solve the problem. That was the major issue. They didn't have an answer to that. So that left the Northeast coordinator in a fix. And I think it was a considered decision by the BJP, should we say, party, that they should keep it in animated suspension, so that within the given 2 months or 6 months, whatever, they will be able to find out a solution where a leader can be, he will be a consensus leader within the party, within BJP Manipur, which itself is a hard nut to crack. That is why there are rumors that the centre had favored, in any way, he was always favored by the high-ups over there, Home Minister, Prime Minister. So people are now saying that they have a lurking feeling that they may bring Biren back. We don't know. So this is a very hard situation to crack for the BJP.
So, do you think President's rule will help? And
President rules will help if the centre is willing to take the appropriate actions demanded by the present context. For example, are they going to be able to rein in the armed militants, both valley and hills, Without doing that, there will be nothing good happening. And so it will depend upon the political will of the Modi government to solve the Manipur issue. The thing is, it seems to me that their political will to solve it in a given time frame is very, very weak, because they have their geopolitical interests in Myanmar, compulsions about the Sioux, those people who have signed, the Sioux,
agreement.
and the agreement. They have
The future of Sioux, basically.
They have so many, geopolitical interests in Myanmar, which is in India's interest, no doubt, but which goes against a state interest. So this is a catch-22 situation where they are not able to do what they should have done. I mean, reining in some militants in the valley and the hills is not a very difficult thing to do. But they feel that if they do it, they really, get these militants and troublemakers, violence, if they rein them in completely, they believe that the heavy hand of the state that will come in would be counterproductive for India's interests, whereas it is against the state's interests. So these are dilemmas which is bothering this thing. But for the people of Manipur, both in the hills and the valley, you see that people of Manipur are very, very peace-loving. This thing throughout history, we have been peace-loving. But in the modern developments, insurgencies and Myanmar's problems, these have created certain militants or political centers who go beyond the interests of the people who have, after 1950, to a great extent come to the mainstream, recognize Indianhood, recognize that the future is with India. These people, the majority of the people, you see, they are being led or forcibly, led into a political arena and a direction where, unless the center cracks down on this, solve the insurgency problem, to be very honest and blunt, nothing much can be done which will fast-track the welfare of the people, both in the hills and the valley. Center needs to realize that.
So now, with President's rule under Article 356 of the Constitution, where the Assembly has been kept in suspended animation, the center steps in and takes over the control of the state government, the functioning of the state government. Mm-hmm. So what are the challenges before the center?
The challenge is that they have to justify President's rule. Justify by bringing down violence, number one. Number two, bringing some iota of normalcy in the valley and the hills. That normalcy will come only when you clear the highways. Let people start moving. Unless people meet each other, how are we going to ever have a solution to this? People, greatly want to mix. People greatly want to trade. See that? The hill economy depends on the valley economy, isn't it? And they are suffering from, because they cannot, especially those 3 districts where the problems are, Chorchanpur, Senapati, Tenopal, these areas, they are greatly suffering because their agricultural products are not coming down here, So they are facing starvations, especially this particular population. They are not good growers of food, especially rice. They do zooming almost entirely. See that? So they depend on valley economy, which of course is being substituted to some extent by the Myanmarese, border flow of agricultural goods and all that. So what I'm saying is that the first task is clear, open up the highways. Open up the highways this is something which the people of Manipur, especially in the valley, feel that why in a nation you have the national highways blocked almost forever, isn't it? Almost forever. No valley people can move. Every drivers are now non-valley people driving the vehicles. And so this is the first thing. you clear this economic corridor so that people start trading, seeing each other. This is one. Number two, they have not initiated any dialogue. See, at the non-political level. At the political level, as far as the extremist representatives of the people, okay, who say we are not going to have any talks, so and so. But the people at the ground, at the CSOs level, there are people, real people on the ground who are concerned deeply at a non-political level. Get them on a dialogue. There was this government, the present government, they had formed a peace committee. It didn't take place. See, there were initiatives from the governor's level, from the others level, but somehow the center has been rejecting these dialogues. You see, at the CSO's level, if you listen to any of the discussions on our local channels, you will see that all the important CSOs, they say that we need a dialogue. We have started the dialogue unofficially, but this is not being owned. It is not being owned by the center. So I think the initiative to start the dialogue must start from Delhi. Once that starts, let us start. Open up the highways, start the dialogue, and for heaven's sake, let the violence end. The center's president rule will be, will be legitimized, and people will think they're doing something if the violence ends. And if the government of India cannot put an end to the violence, then people questioning whether the central government really wants to solve the problem will still be there, and presidents will be very, it will be breaking up further, if it doesn't do it, breaking up further the little return to normalcy in terms of thinking together as Manipuris that has developed, because the people in the valley and the people in the hills, they have learned, both of them have learned. This was an useless, conflict between us, which was led not by the people, but by extremists. And it is the duty of the center to see to it that it is solved. The violence is ended. That is the first step that has to be taken. If the violence, military violence in terms of shooting at each other, the one is the economic violence where you have closed with the two national highways. Let these two end, and I think the way forward will be much more easier.
On the ground in Imphal Valley, there was no disruption Friday, with people going about their business as usual. Markets were crowded. The shopkeepers said that they are keeping their fingers crossed. They said that the business has been badly affected since violence broke out in May 2023.
आपका नाम क्या है?
मेरा नाम लेशांगथेम लंदोनी है। मैं नावरेंथोंग में रहता हूँ।
और यहाँ पे इमा मार्केट में
हाँ,
आपका शॉप है?
ये मेरा शॉप है।
अच्छा, थंगाल
बाजार में। थंगाल बाजार खवई भी इमा कैथेल।
अच्छा,
हाँ।
और मैम, यहाँ पे मणिपुर में कल प्रेसिडेंट्स रूल लगा। अब सेंटर जो है यहाँ पे, मतलब यहाँ के एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन डे टू डे फंक्शनिंग चलाएगा, तो आपको पता है, और आप क्या चाहते हैं, मतलब आप लोगों का क्या एक्सपेक्टेशन है?
हम लोगों के एक्सपेक्टेशन तो ये यहाँ पर प्रेसिडेंट रूल ऐसा आएगा नहीं सोचा है हम। ये जो हमारा चीफ मिनिस्टर है ना, वो रिजाइन किया है, वो ऐसा करेगा हम बिल्कुल नहीं सोचा है। हम नहीं चाहते ये प्रेसिडेंट रूल वाला ऐसा नहीं चाहते।
और जो सिचुएशन है अभी
यहाँ मणिपुर का सिचुएशन है बहुत ही ख़राब है, बहुत ही ख़राब, एकदम अच्छा, एकदम पीस नहीं है। हम कुछ भी करने का मन नहीं है। यहाँ बैठे तो सिर्फ हमारे परिवार को संभालने के लिए बैठा है।
सिचुएशन सुधरेगा नहीं, अभी सिचुएशन और भी बिगड़ते जा रहा है। अभी मणिपुर में प्रेसिडेंट रूल आना मतलब वो कभी देते आप लोग को भी मालूम है। जो हम लोग का चीफ मिनिस्टर दिल्ली में गए थे, दिल्ली से वापस आने के बाद उसने खुद से रिज़ाइन किया, जो पहले हम लोग ने रिज़ाइन करने के लिए बहुत बार बोला था, इन्होंने कभी किया ही नहीं। अभी दिल्ली जाके तुरंत आके इन्होंने रिज़ाइन किया। इसका मतलब है कि इंडिया गवर्नमेंट हम लोग के लिए कुछ नहीं सोच रहे हैं। अगर इंडिया गवर्नमेंट हम लोग के लिए सोचते हैं तो प्रेसिडेंट रूल रखती ही नहीं है। वो लोग के हाथ में सब कुछ है, मगर अभी आपको भी मालूम है अभी 2 साल हो गया है, कुछ भी चेंजिंग नहीं है मणिपुर में। लोग मरते जा रहे हैं, कितने लोगों का बेघर हो रहा है, और कितने माँ के कितने बेटे नहीं है, कितने लड़के, हम लोग जैसे औरत के पति नहीं है, अभी बिना पति का हम लोग कैसे कमाएंगे, वो कुछ नहीं सोच रहे हैं इंडिया गवर्नमेंट। जस्ट वो लोग को जो करना है वही वो लोग कर रहे हैं, जो हम लोग पब्लिक के लिए कुछ नहीं सोच रहे हैं, तो बिगड़ते ही जाएगा, कुछ इम्प्रूवमेंट होगा ही नहीं, ऐसे मेरा एक्सपेक्टेशन है।
और आप लोगों को अभी मतलब यहाँ पे क्या क्या दिक्कतें आ रही हैं?
दिक्कतें मतलब ऐसे गिना नहीं जाएगा, क्योंकि बहुत सारे दिक्कतें हैं। हाँ हाँ जी, क्योंकि हम लोग की ये जो मार्केट है, इमा मार्केट है, और हम लोग मणिपुर का ये बैकबोन है। अभी जो ये बैकबोन है इसमें इकोनॉमी ही नहीं है, तो हम लोग पूरा ये इकोनॉमिक डाउन होते जा रहे हैं।
लेकिन अब तो कर्फ्यू नहीं है, मार्केट खुल रहा है।
कर्फ्यू नहीं है, मार्केट नहीं है, मगर हम लोग कमाने के लिए तो काम करना पड़ता है। जिसके पास पैसा नहीं है तो कमाएंगे कैसे? अभी शादी का सीज़न है, सब ऑल इंडिया में सीज़न है, सब लोग कमाई कर रहे हैं, हम लोग बैठे हैं। अभी कोई खरीदने के लिए सेल नहीं होता है, क्योंकि कितने सारे लोग बेघर हो रहे हैं। वो लोग रिलीफ कैंप में रहते हैं, रिलीफ कैंप में रह के वो क्या कमाएंगे? जिसके पास पैसा ही नहीं है तो कमाने के लिए भी हम लोग खर्चा तो करना पड़ता है ना, चीज़ों लेने के लिए। वो है ही नहीं तो हम लोग कमाएंगे कैसे? हम लोग के पास पैसे नहीं है और खरीदने के लिए पैसे नहीं है, तो कैसे हम लोग सेल करेंगे? हम लोग का जो मार्केट बैकबोन है ये पूरा ही डाउन हो गया है। अभी कुछ नहीं कर सकते, कुछ चेंजिंग ही नहीं है, बिगड़ते जा रहे। कितना बिगड़ेगा, कब तक देखेगा इंडिया गवर्नमेंट? आई डोंट नो अबाउट दैट, बट दे शुड ऑल्सो अंडरस्टैंड, राइट? दे नेवर अंडरस्टैंड। अब तक एक बार भी नहीं आया है, 2 साल हो गया। अगर कोई स्टेट में होता तो वो 2-3 बार जा चुके होते, मणिपुर में एक बार भी नहीं आया है।
Shops, markets and commercial establishments have already started business today. I am at one of the Ima bazaars in East Imphal district. Ima in Manipuri means mother. The women shopkeepers here are saying that their expectation is that normalcy will be restored here, because for close to 2 years their life has been disrupted. Their business was down because there were not enough people coming to buy the stuff they were selling. This is Maushumi Das Gupta with Suraj Singh Bisht from Manipur's Imphal East district for The Print.